Hi, this is Mrs. Kuchin. Welcome to Biology 1408, the online class for summer 2020. We'll do both lecture and lab online. This is going to be very informal. I'm going to just go over some key points as if it were the first 15 minutes or so of class on the first day. So as I mentioned, this is Biology 1408 for non-majors. Hopefully if you're listening to this, you only got to it from a course that you selected on purpose. For your textbook, we're going to use the free textbook Concepts of Biology, which is available at this website, which is linked in Blackboard. You can just look at it online if you'd like. You can order a print copy if you want to do that, or there's also a way you can download a PDF if you're more of a paper type learner. For a lab manual, you will not have one. I will post all the labs that you need in Blackboard, and we'll talk more about those in just a minute. Be sure you check your syllabus regularly so you kind of know if you're the type to read ahead, you can go ahead and do that. Just check that. If we have to change any dates, I will give you advance notice. I don't anticipate that at this point, but if that does happen, I'll give you notice and we'll work with that. Blackboard. Since this is strictly online, it's going to be critical that you check there regularly. You will have hard deadlines that you'll need to make, and I don't want you to miss anything. So be certain that you check. So since this is a lab course, there will be some labs that you'll have to perform. It is a science course that requires some hands-on learning. The purchase of supplies, I've tried to consider everything so that we could keep it at a minimum. I've given you a list. This list is in the welcome folder on Blackboard. So if you're the type to get things ahead, there's one or two things that are perishable, so you might hold off and get those later in the summer when you actually need them. And just please be aware, I've taken every effort to limit the supplies needed. I've used as many virtual labs as I could find that would be beneficial to your learning, and hopefully most of the items that you'll need are going to be things you already have at home. So like I said in the first slide, my name is Mrs. Kuchin, Ku as in what a baby says, and chin as the bottom of your face, so Mrs. Kuchin. I got my bachelor's degree from Texas Tech and my master's from New Mexico State. My experience in education, I've been teaching science for about 10 years. I've been with Lee about 1 year. Before that, I was in research and extension work, as in ag related and 4-H and that kind of stuff. Office hours, I will technically have office hours 11 to 11:30 a.m. on Mondays. However, if you need to reach out to me as an online class, please send me an email and I will do my best to get back to you within 24 hours. I would prefer you use this lee.edu email address because I get that on my telephone and my cell phone, and I can get back with you right away. If you give me a message in Blackboard, I might not get to it until that next evening or that next morning when I actually check my messages on Blackboard, because I'm not going to do that on my phone. For grading guidelines, you can look at your syllabus to find a grading worksheet. So as you go through the semester, you can actually sort of tally your points and figure out how you're doing. The syllabus quiz that you'll need to have finished by Tuesday night, it's going to be worth 15 points or 4% of your grade. You're going to need to do some Blackboard discussion posts. There will be 9 of them, one each week except for the week of finals. To get full credit, to get all 10 of those points, you will also need to positively respond to 2 other classmates' posts in order to get all those points. So be sure you do that. Just something positive, uplifting, whatever, but that's related to the content. We'll also have the labs each week. You won't have one the week of finals, so just be aware of that. You'll have 9 labs plus a couple of bonus opportunities. So those are worth 120 points or 32% of your grade. We'll only have 3 tests throughout this summer session, and the last test is not cumulative, so I hope that's good news for most of you. And I want you to notice that your tests, which will cover lab material and lecture material on the same test, you'll only take 3 exams and that will cover everything. Those are only worth 40% of your grade. So if you will stay on top of your Blackboard discussions and your lab report stuff, then you should be fine, for those of you that are concerned about it being a science class. A couple of things about due dates. As I mentioned, you'll have a syllabus quiz. It will be due Tuesday, no later than 11:59 p.m. Your discussion post will be due each Thursday by 11:59 p.m. Lab reports and photos, which I'll mention again in a minute, I'll explain that more in a minute, they will also be due each Thursday by 11:59 p.m. Your exams that you will take, there will be a 2-day window that you can start. So if you're ready at 11 p.m. on Friday, it'll be open for you, and once you open it, you'll have 90 minutes to complete it. So there will not be an option to start it, stop it, and save and go back, 10 hours later. So once you open it, you'll need to get rolling and complete it. I would anticipate 50 questions on each of those exams. Like I said, there will be lecture notes, reading questions, plus things that go back to your labs, the key information that I share, and maybe what would have been expected on the lab. So we'll talk more about that later. So extra credit, I do offer extra credit, but I only offer it to everybody, so don't ask me for it. When I've offered it, it will be due with an assignment or an exam, so that way I don't give you too many varying due dates. Hopefully it'll either be due on a lab due date or on a test due date. So late assignments, I understand life happens. This whole world has been crazy the last several months, but to keep you motivated to turn your work in on time, I will take late work, but I will take off 15 points every day that it's late up to 3 days. So after that 3rd day, if I've not received it, you get a 0, we all move on. Extra credit, if it's due on Thursday, I'll only take it on that Thursday. I will not take extra credit late. So how can you be successful during the quote-unquote lecture portion of this? Make sure that when I've posted the discussion topic, you read it and then you submit your response on time. If you read it before, kind of early in the week, then you'll be able to recognize better what you want to say as a day or two goes on. Also, I'm going to post slides that will have an audio similar to this. It'll have some more in-depth detail than what just the slides themselves say. The audio clip will. So be sure you go through those slides, and hopefully that will help you understand the content of the textbook a little bit better. So when you get to the textbook, make sure that you look at the objectives that are before each section. These will really help you. So for instance, section 1.1, themes and concepts of biology. Before you read that section, look at those objectives. In that case, it is identify and describe the properties of life, describe the levels of organization among living things, list examples of different subdisciplines in biology. If you've read those objectives before you read, then when you read, that will become so much more readily visible to you. And then at the end of the chapter, or the section, well, at the end of the chapter, make sure that you look at the questions that are provided. The visual connection questions will actually just link you back to a question that's already in the text. The review questions will be very, very good. Those are great because you will see something very similar to those on your exams. And then your critical thinking questions, those will be ones that will help to make sure that you better understand the content. So, success during lab. Do not procrastinate. Look at those lab instructions at the beginning of the week as soon as I post them, and if you have not already done so, go purchase those supplies that you'll need. Complete your lab and report and get it turned in when it's due. Remember, those will be due no later than Thursday at 11:59 p.m. Now, in order to show me that you're actually doing them, I want you to include 2 photos of you performing the hands-on lab, and those will be due with the report. You can upload them in a document. You can just put them directly in Blackboard. If you're struggling, you can email it to my Lee account. I don't care. Just however you can get those pictures to me, that's fine. If it's a virtual lab, you're welcome to take screenshots at 2 different times during the lab to show me that you've gone through the steps. It's at least some part of it. And you're not limited to 2. You're welcome to give more than 2. If there's 2 or 3 or 5 things that you want to do, that's fine. There's no bonus for extra, but you're welcome to share more. So those be those are important because you won't get full credit for that lab if you don't share that to show me that you're actually doing it. Again, there will be some opportunities for extra credit in the labs. Those will be due with the assignment, and I will not accept extra credit late. All right, so if you have any questions, like I mentioned previously, email me. I will gladly assist you in any way that I can. And I took this picture of this cactus in a pasture not far from my house, and it just seems so, I don't know, kind of odd to me that it was in Southeast Texas. But here's my final thought for you, because this cactus seems kind of odd and rough. If it seems a little rough at times, do not give up. There is beauty in everything, including an online biology class during a worldwide pandemic. Please reach out to me if you have any questions. I hope we have a great summer. Talk to you soon.